Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. The West African nation of Burkina Faso was plunged into political chaos on Friday after President Blaise Compaore abruptly stepped down. Local media broadcast a resignation statement from Mr. Compaore, and an army spokesman confirmed the president was no longer in office. In his statement, Mr. Compaore called for a 90-day transition leading to elections. Thursday's violent demonstrations in the capital accelerated Compaore's fall from power. At least 3 protesters were killed and dozens more injured Thursday after hundreds of people stormed parliament and other government buildings in the capital, Ouagadougou. In a concession to protesters, the government scrapped the proposal. It also lifted a state of emergency that had been declared just hours earlier. The moves have so far failed to satisfy the protesters. Burkina Faso's army chief dissolved parliament and announced plans for a transitional government following an anti-government uprising against extending the president's nearly 3-decade rule.
A transitional body will be put in place in consultation with all parties. A return to constitutional order is expected in no more than 12 months.
The unrest erupted as lawmakers prepared to vote on a proposed constitutional amendment to allow Mr. Compaore to run for another term in next year's elections. In France, a group of Burkina nationals held a less violent demonstration, but the message was the same.
If the constitution changes, the people will lose their power for sure, because the power is monopolized by a single individual, and that's what we're fighting for today, and we're defending the people's power. We respect the terms of the constitution.
The ruling party has been pushing for months to amend the constitution to eliminate a 2-term limit for presidents that went into effect in 2000. Well, the United Nations says Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is monitoring the deteriorating situation in Burkina Faso and is calling on all parties to exercise calm and restraint and to use dialogue to resolve all outstanding issues. For more perspective on the developments, we are joined by Gnaka LaGoke, an analyst on African issues. Mr. LaGoke, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. Now, to most of us, this almost came as a surprise. We were caught flat-footed. Tell me, did you see this coming?
Yes, we saw it coming, and it has been an ongoing battle between the people of Burkina Faso and Blaise Compaore, or against Blaise Compaore. The first democratic constitution was adopted through referendum June 2nd, 1991. And in that time, the term was to be 7 years. So after 2 years, already they already spoke about the limitation of terms. And then after 2000, there was a major crisis after the assassination of Noble Zongo. And the people of Burkina Faso rose again. And then they obliged the president, all the forces, to agree on the limitation of term, but this time for 5 years. And then Blaise Compaore's rule was going to end in 2015. And then he started to maneuver to change that Article 37 in order to give himself more time in power. And this time, the people of Burkina Faso said, enough is enough, and that he should go. And then they put together a movement that they called Compaore Must Go. And many people, many dignitaries in his party have been leaving his party to join the opposition against him. But he thought that he was maybe strong enough in order to crush dissidents and resistance for him to still be in power.
So the opposition was not strong enough, especially in parliament, to be able to kind of overwhelm the government as far as their desire to extend this kind of presidential term.
Yes, because he's been in power. As you know, he's a military guy. So he's been in power, maneuvering, using different types of methods in order to extend his power. So yes, the opposition was not strong enough in the parliament, but there was a political party of the opposition that he enticed or corrupted, and then that group of that parliamentary group decided to join him for them to get the 3/4 of the votes needed, to avoid the referendum so that Article 37 can be changed.
Now, many people don't know a lot about Mr. Compaore. He was a close friend of the former president, Thomas Sankara, who was assassinated in the 80s. What is it we need to know about his transformation from a military guy to eventually a civilian ruler?
Compaore was friend with Sankara, and Sankara came to power in 1983, and 4 years later, he was assassinated in a bloody coup, and whose beneficiary was to be Blaise Compaore. Mm-hmm. And then Sankara was a revolutionary hero for millions of Africans, because in 4 years, Burkina Faso became self-reliant, self-sufficient, and it gave a sense of dignity and pride, to all of us. So when Compaore came to power as a military guy, the first things he did, the people with whom he plotted against Thomas Sankara, he eliminated them, or got rid of them, or he had them killed. And from that time, he has been using his mighty power as a military guy, like in the context of the civilian democratic system, in order to impose his rule and to maintain in power.
Now, from what you know about the political situation in Burkina Faso right now, how do you see the future playing out now with the military in control during this transitional period? Okay,
but in the politics, we cannot say for sure that it's going to be we're going to have brighter time in Burkina Faso. We cannot say for now. But one thing we can say is that the spirit of Sankara lives on. And then as in Burkina Faso, it was difficult for people, to talk about Sankara. And then now many people are going to feel liberated. And then people have an opportunity. It's a new dawn in the democratic process of Burkina Faso to chart a new course, for a brighter Burkina Faso or for a new Burkina Faso. And signal to all the leaders in Africa, be in Zimbabwe, in Congo, in different parts, who want to Benin and Burundi, who want to change the constitution, and the people of Burkina Faso show that this is people's power, and they took the destiny into their hands, and they send a strong signal to all of us.
Yeah. I mean, you can't stay too long. A time comes and things have to change inevitably. Gnaka, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you.
Well, Gnaka LaGoke is an analyst on African issues based here in Washington.